Hey everyone, it's Mikey Chen. So if you've been watching this channel for a while now, you know that I love to explore the topic of reincarnation or past lives, which is a concept that is commonplace in many Eastern beliefs. These belief systems also talk about the existence of a third eye, an invisible eye that is able to see things beyond this dimension and can see into the past and future. Certain Buddhist scriptures also say that we are all born with this eye, but the eye is sealed and can only be opened through cultivation practice. These scriptures also mention that because children's minds are so pure, they are sometimes able to see things through this third eye that are not of this world. So keeping that in mind, here are some of the creepiest things that kids have actually said. And of course, I can't verify whether these things actually happened or not, but I choose to believe that most people are not so dark. They just sit around all day and make up these things. Also, I just want to say, anytime something creepy has to do with a kid, it becomes way creepier. I mean, take this famous scene.
I see dead people.
That's pretty scary, right? Now, if it wasn't a creepy kid saying these words,
Yo, I see dead people.
doesn't that make a huge difference? So just a warning, some of the stuff that these kids say is pretty scary. I mean, I about peed my pants multiple times making this video at night, which wasn't the smartest idea, but I did add some things in here to kind of lighten up the mood a little. So just a warning, don't watch this alone at nights where, you know, I could be completely wrong and it's not scary at all. Number 1, the kid that found his own grave. This person wrote that when his brother was about 2 or 3 years old, he told his family that his name used to be Austin. One day, the family was picnicking by a cemetery when his brother took off running towards the gravestones. The dad and the older brother followed him and found him next to a large headstone that simply read, "Here lies Austin." There was no date or anything else on the tombstone. The person who posted this story also noted that his brother did not learn to read until he was 6, and this headstone wasn't even visible from where they were, yet the kid ran right to it. First of all, why any family would have a picnic by a cemetery, I don't know. I mean, doesn't dead people just kind of ruin the whole enjoying nature aspect of a picnic? Number 2, the other mother. A mom was talking to her 4-year-old daughter when the daughter told her a story about her other mother and the fact that she died a long time ago on a Thursday. The mom tried to brush it off, but then the daughter started to go into detail about the death of her other mother, whose name was Sally. And apparently, Sally died when the daughter was playing with her father's gun that she found, and she accidentally shot and killed Sally while she was walking upstairs. At this point, the mom is kind of freaking out because her daughter was only 4. She has never met anyone named Sally, and no one has ever told her what guns were. And here's the creepiest part. Whenever the mother tried telling her daughter that when someone dies, they go away forever, the daughter says, "That's not true. We come back, mommy." You know, I think there's a movie called Sometimes They Come Back, but that's really not the same thing. And if I was that mom and I learned that my kid is a mom killer, I don't think I could ever trust that kid again. I mean, she says it was an accident. I don't know that. Number 3, the little girl. This story comes from a babysitter who says that a few years ago when she was putting her friend's daughter to bed, who was about 3 at the time, the little girl didn't want to go to sleep and asked her why she had to. So the babysitter told her that it was late and it's time for little girls to get a good night's rest. So then the little girl pointed across the room at nothing and said, "What about that little girl?" My exact reaction if I ever experienced something like that would be, first of all, pee my pants, and then grab the door before the ghost can slam it shut and just run out of the house. Now, before you judge me about leaving the little girl behind, I just want to say, according to basically every single horror movie I've ever seen, the little girl and that ghost are probably best friends, so, you know, she's fine. Also, I do want to say, a lot of these horror movies, when the ghost shuts the door, you see these people trying to open it up with no success. You know what I would do? I would just jump out the window. I might break a leg, but that's much better than getting strangled by a little ghost. Number 4, the lady with the braid. The person that posted this story said that when she was at her aunt's house while going upstairs to use the bathroom, she ran into her cousin April sitting on the stairs making funny faces. She looked around and of course no one was there, so she asked April what she was doing. April, who was 4 at the time, said she was copying the lady with the braid and pointed to a beam running parallel to the stairs. She asked April what the lady was doing, and April said, "Making funny faces," which is pretty creepy already. But then April said this: "Her braid is around her neck. The lady is hanging by her braid and she's making funny faces. The girl who posted this story then said April made a face that made her realize what was happening because April was making faces of someone gasping for air. Number 5, the Titanic. The person who posted this story said that when his kid was 4 years old, they were watching a documentary on the Titanic together. When a scene of a picture of the schematics of the boiler room came on the screen and the camera panned from left to right over the plans, the child pointed at the TV and said, "That's wrong. The boilers were on the other side, and I was right here," as he pointed to a small space in the boiler room. "That's where I was, and that's why I don't like water now." Number 6, the girl on the slide. A mom was sitting on her back porch watching her 3-year-old daughter play on the slide in their backyard when the daughter ran up to her and asked her if she could play with the little girl on the slide. The mom didn't see a little girl and asked where this girl was. The daughter said, "She's right over on the slide, Mom. Can I play with her?" The mom said again that she doesn't see any other little girl, but the daughter insisted, "She's on the slide and she's blue. Can I play with her?" Then the mom freaked out and took the daughter inside, who for the rest of the day kept looking out the window, saying that the little blue girl was lonely. Number 7, the drawing. The person who posted this story was babysitting a 5-year-old girl who drew a picture of a woman hanging from the ceiling. Then the little girl said to the babysitter, "She told me to draw this. She's coming for you. Hide." And no one has ever heard from that babysitter ever again. Okay, I'm just kidding about that last part. Number 8, the Kidnapper. This story was from a woman who said that when she was little and shopping with her mom at the grocery store, she went all hysterical when she saw this random guy. So much so that her and her mom had to leave the store. When her mom asked her what was wrong when they got into the car, she said, "He took me away from my first mom and hid me under his floor and made me sleep for a long time until I woke up with my new mom." And then she refused to sit in the seat of the car but instead cowered under the dashboard the whole ride home. And of course, her mom at the time was her biological mother, so who was the first mom? Number 9, the closet. While changing her daughter in front of the open closet door, the little girl kept looking around the mom and laughing. So the mom asked her what was so funny. The daughter replied, "The man," to which the mom replied, "What man?" She then pointed at the closet and said, "The man with the snake neck." The mom turned around and nothing was there and says that she's too afraid to look into the history of the house to see if somebody actually hung themselves in the closet. Number 10, this is really short and is really creepy. Some kid basically said to his or her dad, "Daddy, remember that time we died?" And finally, number 11, the bad man. A little girl was crying and her parents went into her room and asked her why she was crying, and the little girl said, "Bad man." The parents asked her, "What bad man?" The girl points behind them at a dark corner of the room and says, "There." As soon as the parents turn to look, a lamp on a bookcase next to that dark corner falls to the floor. But you know, I've been thinking about this. Maybe the little girl said Batman, which makes sense because Batman is always lurking in the shadows somewhere, and now he owes this family a lamp and an explanation. You know, if I ever have kids and if I ever see them draw a creepy picture or talking to somebody who I can't see, I'm not even gonna ask them what the picture's about, and I'm not gonna ask them who they're talking to. I'm just gonna pack everything up and move. And I will move to this little studio apartment in the middle of New York City, and I'll make sure the place is so small that the ghost will be like, "Yeah, this is a little too much. I'm used to a nice attic or a basement or even a closet, but this whole place is the size of a closet." Yeah, I would just cramp the ghost away. Well, you know what? I just won't let my kids draw. I'm just gonna let them play video games all day long so their brains will be overwhelmed with stimuli and they won't be creative at all. You know, this way they won't randomly come up to me with some sketch of a dead person and telling me that's their best friend who's living in their closet. Also, I do want to note that the kid in The Sixth Sense was all freaking out about all the dead people that he was seeing. But you know what? In real life, kids seem to really enjoy their dead companions. I mean, there's that girl who's looking at some person hanging and then she's making funny faces at that person. Also, there's the girl who wants to play with the girl who's all blue. And here's my PSA for this video. Parents, when picking a place to live, stop buying old houses in the middle of nowhere. There's a reason those places are so cheap. So if you ever go house hunting and utter the words, wow, I wonder why this place is such a great deal. Or when you walk into the house, you hear some noise and say, that's just the house settling. Then you need to get out of there. I do believe that kids sometimes are able to see things that adults may not. But let me know your story. Have you ever heard of a kid saying something equally as creepy? Or have you said something that really creeped your parents out when you were little? Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.